Hello everyone, this is Vincenzo and welcome to a new video. So to be honest, today I don't have many ideas, but luckily a new subscriber on the channel asked me about how to improve from 1100 to 1500. So, well, this is kinda a lot of rating. It's 400 points of rating from 1100 to 1500, but to answer that question I want to go to my games here, go to live games, and here I'm going to select rapid because I consider rapid to be the best time control if you want to play serious chess, but if you want to have fun, definitely check out longer time controls like Blitz. Like in this game here, this is a crazy game. I won with less than a second on the clock and I'm very slow, so I was surprised. But yeah, Blitz is very fun. It's a very fun time control, but if you want to play serious chess, maybe you should play rapid. So let's select rapid, rated, and now we search and we go to the last page, and here, as you can see here, well, this is very funny because my first game on this account, which is my second account. I mean, I had another account and then I got to this new account because I wanted to change my name and I couldn't on the other account. So now this is my account, obviously, and my first game I played with 30% accuracy, which is embarrassing to say the least. But yeah, that happened. So well, we are not going to see this game. Instead, we are going to see this one where I was actually rated 1100. So let's check this game out and let's analyze together what was different when I was an 1100 rated player. So how can you improve from 1100? Here you can see that I played kinda bad here. My opponent had a +4 advantage, but then I managed to win. So my opponent was rated 965. And yeah, okay, let's start the analysis. Okay, so e4 and now e6. I have been playing the French defense since the beginning on this account. Then d4, d5, and now this is the this can lead to the win-aware variation, which I don't know the theory. So in this position I always go, well, here in this game I played it because I didn't know this move, knight to f6, which is the classical French. Nowadays I always play the classical, I prefer it, but here I played the win-aware. So my opponent blocks the diagonal. This is a book move, very legit move. Maybe they can even, I don't know, bring the queen out and castle queenside. Oh, and about this bishop b4 move, I said that I don't know the theory. So I was 1100 here. So the first thing I can say about how to improve at this level is that you should study at least one opening for white and one opening for black. Maybe even two openings for black, because most of the times you are going to face e4, so I always play the French, but sometimes you are going to face d4, so you have to learn something else. For example, the d4, d5, or the King's Indian defense. So, the first tip to improve at 1100 is learn your openings, at least one opening for each side, because if you do, you're going to save time on the clock and play better moves. Okay, but let's continue with the analysis. I developed my knight. This is a book move apparently. Now my opponent kicks the bishop backs and I take. It was the best move, probably because after my opponent takes, this bishop is kinda useless. It's blocking the c pawn. Yes, you can see here, but it's completely fine for white. Now, and well, of course, after the bishop takes, I win a pawn, which isn't even the best move according to the engine. The best move is castling, but of course, if you see a pawn, I mean, taking the pawn probably isn't a bad idea. Now, here another very dubious move. This is a very bad move, positionally speaking, because remember I said that this bishop is useless? Well, now that I played this move, the dark squares are very dangerous here, and my opponent can win a pawn here, so I don't know why I didn't just castle or played f5 to defend the pawn. But now my opponent can simply go here, and the bishop will be attacking the rook, and I don't have time to recapture the pawn because my rook is attacked. Although here I see a tactic. If my opponent goes here, I can take with the pawn, ignoring the threat on the rook and attacking the queen. So yeah, my opponent doesn't play that move. Now I jump in with the knight. This is another mistake because I have already developed this knight, but look at my queen side. I mean, there is no development over the queen side, so I should probably develop my other knight, maybe the bishop, I don't know, maybe play a pawn move, maybe just castling, but don't move the same piece twice in the opening. You see? And this is already borderline losing. It's plus 2.2. I mean, against a stronger player, this is a lost position. But okay, my opponent finds the best move, which is amazing because again, they could have simply castled, but I mean, they didn't want to damage their pawn structure. Makes sense. So here I play another horrible move, positionally speaking, because this is the French bishop. This is garbage. Why am I playing this move? If I only have this square for my bishop, why am I blocking this square for my knight? I'm not going to develop my knight like this, although I might be forced to do it. But okay, this is a very bad move. So another tip here, after you learn your opening, well, make sure that you find good squares for your pieces. This should be an easy concept to learn for at any rating, to be honest. But yeah, always try to find good squares for your pieces and don't block your own development. You can see here almost every pawn is on light squares, so this bishop is very, very bad. Okay, my opponent kicks my knight out, and this is why this move was bad, because now my opponent takes more space in the center and I have to move my knight a third time. So yeah, and here you can see already some problems. If the queen went here and I simply castled, then there is this move putting pressure on the bishop. I have to play this move and then I lose my rook. You see it there? So yeah, don't move so many times your pieces in the opening. Now I develop my other knight, makes sense. My opponent does the same, and I go here with the queen, with a simple threat, to be honest. But this is one move attack, because this pawn can be defended in so many ways, like this, for example. Also putting the bishop on a good diagonal, like this, like this. My opponent can just castle if they want. They can leave the pawn. It's not really a good pawn, you know. So the engine is saying here plus 2.6. I'm completely lost here, and my opponent, yeah, takes even more space. Look at this. These pawns are dominating the board, and look at my pawns. They are very, very sad. So, well, I strike with the a pawn, which is kinda like an idiotic move, because I simply blunder a pawn. I'm not really going to give up the exchange. I mean, why would I give up the exchange? So my opponent should have taken. Instead they go here, and this is a good move because I cannot castle anymore. My king stays in the center, and now I of course I take, because this was my idea all the time. And now look at this. Wow, this is a nice move here. If you take, you see here, takes with check, you sacrifice the queen to win a piece and a rook. But I mean, are you really going to play this position? Well, maybe if you're stronger, probably you can consider playing this. Now you are blocking this bishop development. But I mean, nobody wants to play with pieces against a queen, right? So maybe I saw that move, I don't know, I didn't play it. Now here I play an interesting move here, because I sacrifice a pawn, but my opponent takes with the knight, and this is a blunder. But look at this, you see, it is a blunder only if you take with the queen, because then it is a double attack on the knight and the rook. So instead I take with the knight, I blunder away the advantage, and now I move my knight yet again. My opponent's, well, retreats the queen. What can you do? And here I played this absurd move. I don't even understand this move, because I can simply sorry, no, not that move, but this move I can defend my knight. I mean, I can do a lot of things, but again, you should sacrifice the queen to get the position to equality. But yeah, I don't know why well, the knight isn't even attacked. So why did I play this move? I don't know. Now the knight is attacked, but I can ignore and take the bishop here, and I win a pawn. Now I am winning, and I go here, but again, this is one move attack, because my opponent can finally castle and the rook wouldn't be attacked anymore. And this is what they did. It is a great move. Just castle, bring the king to safety. Look at my king. It's still in the middle. I probably should castle here. As you can see, the engine wants me to castle, but I'm moving my queen around. So here I want to give you 2 more tips to improve. Don't play one attack move, because I mean, after this move, what was the point of getting the queen here? So I lost a tempo. And always bring your king to safety. Don't leave your king in the middle, because it's going to get attacked and you don't want to get attacked unless you are a very strong player who can defend perfectly. But here, yeah, you can see that I'm delaying castle again, and I'm moving my queen all around the board. So now my opponent defends the bishop. Now I finally castle. I'm feeling comfortable here, but you can never know in this position. This bishop is still a bad bishop. So, and my opponent here plays a mistake, because now I can put pressure on the bishop, and I don't do it. Instead, I move my queen again. So, and my opponent plays a normal move, defense, and everything is fine. Of course, the engine doesn't think it is fine. It is minus 2.7, but why? Well, you have to develop. Finally, I developed my French bishop, the bad bishop, and now this pawn was attacked twice. My opponent pushes it. But here you might also consider this move, sacrificing the queen for 2 rooks, and now you have a passed pawn. The engine doesn't like it. It is probably just losing. Maybe you can even play this move. Well, not really, but I mean at this level, this is scary still. But no, don't sacrifice the queen for no reason. This is probably a blunder too. Oh well, it is an inaccuracy. It's actually winning. So yeah, this is better. This is better. And well, I didn't sacrifice my queen. Instead I played this, but here, another tip to improve. Why this rook? Why did I put the a rook to d8? This rook was doing a great job at defending this pawn, because if I ever moved my queen, say here or here, I don't know, this pawn will be still defended. So move the other rook. If you have a rook on a good file, put the other rook on a good file too. So another tip, right? And here my opponent blundered. So always take your time to think. You can see here that it's been 27 moves and my opponent has spent less than 30 seconds. Of course, it is more because it's 15 minutes with 10 seconds increment, but he has 14 minutes on the clock and they blundered a rook. So, and there is no like discovered attack on my queen. Even if there was a discovered, I will take this rook, so this is completely lost for my opponent. Now they exchange rooks. I'm happy to exchange. I'm a rook up, this pawn is crushing here. So here I propose a queen trade, and here maybe I have another tip for you. If you are afraid of getting attacked or blundering, I don't know, a fork, something, a tactic, well, then trade pieces. Of course, you shouldn't be trading when you are down material, when you're losing, but if you are winning, if you have an advantage, just trade queens. So this is another tip to improve. And you see here, doesn't matter that the bishop covers. I have this move, I have even this move, check, takes, and then I promote. So doesn't matter. And the king is not in time. Well, I find this move. I'm surprised that this is the best move according to the engine. Nobody will play this move. Probably not even Magnus Carlsen would play that move, because you just want to promote, right? Okay, so here useful move. Rook here, of course, it is defended. So now we cut the opponent's king. Now the opponent's king cannot move, and now we're going to bring our king. This is probably, although it is the best move, it is probably a useless move, to be honest. Now we take everything, we are winning, we bring the king, and now here the opponent resigned, because of course there is nothing you can do. So to recap this game, learn at least a couple of openings if you want to improve at this level, 1100, even higher rated, lower rated. I mean, if you want to improve, learn at least a couple of openings. Then another tip, don't move your pieces around. Well, maybe these arrows are a bit confusing, as I did here. You see, I moved my knight 3 times in 10 moves. So yeah, then don't block your own development like this. It's a very bad decision. Don't move your queen around too much without a point. And then, yeah, always look for the most forcing move. So yeah, these are my tips for improving. Yeah, here is another tip. Always bring your king to safety instead of moving your pieces back and forth. And then always, as I said, find good squares for your pieces. And when you are winning, try to trade queens. It is the safest way to win. Okay, so these are my tips to improve. So I hope my new subscriber is watching this video. I will put a title to like remind my subscriber what's this video is about, because they asked me some days ago. So well, I don't know how long will be this video, but I can probably analyze yet another game. So let's go back here to my games, the last page. because I actually only played the rapid at the beginning when I created my account, and as you can see here, well, I got a lot of rating points from this game because it was my second game. So yeah, chess.com gave me like 80 points for winning a game. And then I played another game. It was 38 moves. I won, and quite a decent accuracy, 86.2. I mean, I'm playing worse these days than I used to when I was 1200. So in fact, I decided today to take a break from chess, at least from rated chess, because I'm playing very bad, like probably 1500 strength. So I want to take a break and focus more, study more, and then get back to rated chess and try to get to 1100. So let's check this game, because I still was 1100, but after this game I got to 1200. So here, as you can see, a great game, although here a blunder, the only blunder of the game, by the way, but I blunder a draw. So yeah, this can happen. So okay, let's analyze real quick. d4, d5, bishop f4, the London. If you want to, if you're new to the game and you want to choose an opening to learn, I highly recommend you to play the London system, because it is very easy to learn, it is very solid, you don't have to worry too much about tactics, so it's a great way to get started to chess. And actually I still play it at 1700, and Jaswant, my friend, got to 1100 by playing the London and the Caro-Kann. So these are my two openings. I recommend play the London as white and the Caro-Kann. Don't play the French because it's kinda garbage, but play the Caro-Kann. Okay, now here, this is a normal London setup, except for this move, which is very strange. But here I played this move. This move, h3, makes sense in some positions. For example, if my opponent plays normal moves and I go here, and my opponent plays this tricky move, instead of this, which is the most common move, when you go here, and if your opponent takes, you are happy to have the semi-open file, but there is a variation, which is this one, and there is already a threat here, because as the bishop goes here, covering these squares, and if I played a normal move like this, then there is this very annoying move, and then I'm going to lose my bishop for knight. I don't really want to do that. I prefer to trade my bishop for my opponent's bishop. So yeah, because if you want to save your bishop, if you go here, you lose everything, right? You blunder a piece, and if you go here, well, the knight takes, it is the same thing, but the opponent has the bishop there and you don't. And if you go here, there is this move, so you have to go back, you know. So here in this position, when my opponents play this move, I always all the time go here, so that if my opponent goes here, I simply retreat my bishop to safety and I'm happy. Okay, but this was not the position. Instead, I played this h3 move here, but this doesn't make sense, because if my opponent goes here, I cannot retreat anymore, because after takes, I mean, this is very bad for white. So don't play like prophylactic moves. This is another tip to improve. Don't play slow pawn moves. That doesn't do anything if you want to improve. Sorry, I had a little bit of water. So, okay, don't play this type of moves. Now, you see, my opponent goes there, and I have to take because I don't want to damage my pawn structure. Although there is a very nice move, counter-attacking. But okay, now normal developing moves, especially if you play the London, be always careful not to play too fast because you can blunder this pawn fork in the London and in other openings too if you're not careful. So always take your time. As you can see here, I took 17 seconds. So yeah, take your time, don't rush, even if you always play the same system, don't rush. So okay, we traded some pieces, I centralized my knight, I castled. So this is a better game than the previous one because I didn't play random queen moves for no reason. I developed my pieces, I brought my king to safety. This was a bad move, but you know, one move is not going to cost you the game, but if you play random moves, well, probably yes. So here I played this move and I actually remember the idea. It was probably going here and then attacking the knight. You see? Attacking the knight, and if the knight takes, it is checkmate. So yeah, this was my idea. Of course the engine doesn't like it, because the engines always see the ideas, as you can see here. And my opponent actually played the best move, so I had to retreat my queen. So there was no point of playing this move, and I lost a tempo. Now I'm attacking the bishop. My opponent blunders. Well, because after you take, the queen has to take, but then you can... Well, I missed the move here, but always look at the most forcing move. So the most forcing moves are checks, but here I don't have any checks, but I have an attack. So if I push this pawn, my opponent, well, can play something, has to move the knight. But if they move the knight, I'm going to take, right? Although here, yeah, you can see you can win the queen too, but after I go here, well, the knight is trapped. So there are no squares it can go to, and we win a piece. Okay? So always look at the most forcing move. If you can find it, play it, you're going to be fine. Now again, my opponent blunders the same tactic, and here I finally found it and I win a piece. So as you can see here, and as I said for the previous game, I'm winning, I'm up a piece. I want to trade queens, so of course my pawn structure is horrible. My opponent's kinda active, but I can deal with this pawn structure. Well, I don't really know why I didn't grab the pawn, but okay, yeah, now I do. Now okay, I lose a pawn, who cares, I'm up a piece. But be careful, you see here I'm getting kicked out. So my king is active, but you have to activate the rook too, right? You cannot expect to win if you don't activate your pieces. So here I give a check, I go back. Now I go here, another one move threat. Of course I'm winning, but makes no sense. And now here, can you see the idea behind this move? Well, covering this square, and my opponent doesn't see the threat. Now that the bishop is covering the h7 square, there is checkmate. So a much better game here. Yeah, and this was the blunder where I could have won a piece, but I blundered a draw. See here, because if you trade the bishop for the knight, it's just a draw. I mean, an equal position, not a draw, because you have to play and actually draw the game, but it is an equal position. My opponent didn't see it, and then here, let's see how much time I spent. Here I spent like 50 seconds. I should have seen this move, but that's okay. This is why you play longer time control. And then I spent, well, then I spent 5 seconds and I found the move. This is very funny. But okay, these are my tips again for the game. Let's recap. Again, learn your openings. Don't play slow moves in the opening because it's going to give away that small advantage you may have. Then develop your pieces, of course. Don't blunder, take your time, but do not blunder these moves, because then you can resign. And bring your king to safety, another tip. And then don't play these ideas here like this, because sometimes they can work and sometimes it's just idiotic. So don't do it, because here if I play a random move like this, well, what am I going to do now? I just have to trade pieces. Okay, here. Oh, I believe that here in this position I saw this move, but I thought that if my opponent goes here and I take the queen, I'm also going to lose the queen with check, and probably I didn't see that after I attack the knight cannot escape. So this is probably why I played this move. Now I understand why I spent 50 seconds and I apparently didn't see this move, but then in 5 seconds I did. So I guess I saw the move here, but I didn't calculate this tactic. So take your time to calculate. When you see a move and it looks good, take your time, calculate at least the most forcing variation, and if the move is good, play it. And if the opponent outcalculates you, well then probably there is nothing you can do. Now the other tip was trade queens when you are up material. The other tip was stay active, stay active with your king, especially in end games, with your other pieces like this, see here. And then if you can win material, looks good, do it. And then don't play this one move threat. Playing this move here would probably have been better, maybe, I don't know, blocking the rook, I don't know. But yeah, and then also make threats, because here the opponent didn't see it. My opponent was hoping that with 3-1 pawns on the queen side they could have promoted, but always be careful with your king, another tip. And here my opponent had 12 minutes and they lost, so take your time. And actually I should follow these tips too, because as you can see, today I played 5 rapid games, you see here, and I lost 4 of them, and you can see that my accuracy was very bad. It is like 1500 rated player accuracy. So yeah, these are my tips for improving at this level, 1100, but even, as I said, even higher level, lower level. I mean, these are useful tips anyway. So yeah, I hope my subscriber enjoys this video, and I hope you enjoy this video too. Leave me a comment if you want. Let me know if you like this kind of videos where I analyze my older games and I try to give tips on how to improve. So yeah, let me know in the comments and see you in the next video. Oh, and actually, one last thing, I was actually thinking about playing here in this event. Have you seen this event here? The chess.com Global Championship 2022. And well, there is like $1 million prize. I'm not playing for the prize. Actually, I don't even know if I'm going to play. But this will be very interesting, because if you play in the qualifiers, well, I suppose that there are some strong players out there. It will be fun to play. I don't know, because you have to be a verified member on chess.com, and if you know that what is verification here, well, verification, if you get verified, you can join the chess.com Global Championship and other exclusive events, but it has a cost of $15 the first year and then $10 per year. So I don't know, maybe I'm going to get my account verified, at least to play in this tournament, and maybe if I do, probably some good videos are going to come out of those games. I don't know. Let me know in the comments, what do you think about this tournament here. So thanks again for watching, and see you in the next video.